All right, guys, this hearing opens with a major update. The court immediately focuses on reunification progress.
Thank you. It is nice.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was able to visit with the child in person, meeting his developmental milestones. During the review period, I consulted with the agency, and they helped support a new direction with mom and her visiting. So I think it was amazing that they were able to pivot and add more parenting time. And we're kind of in that place where mom can't get everything ready for the child to come because he's not there full time, but yet saying temporary is we're about done with the temporary time too. But anyway, this placement is very supportive of her reunification, and I can't say I have received and reviewed the I can say that I've received and reviewed the court report, and I think we're on the right track, and I have nothing more to add. Thank you.
Ms. Thomas.
Thank you. If Ms. Madrid can please be sworn in.
I have to before you this morning. Okay. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Have a seat.
Good morning, Ms. Madrid. How are you doing?
Good for you.
Good. So for today's hearing, you prepared a court report, correct?
Yes, it is.
And inclusive in that is the case service plan for mom, and then a report from Home of New Vision. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Are there any other documents that have circulated since you've provided this report?
We did sign the proof of service with this court report for Mr. Estelle.
Okay. And are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to your court report or any of the attachments?
Not at this time.
Okay. During this review period, have you had the opportunity to meet with Ms. Leary and discuss her case service plan?
Yes.
Okay. And are there any changes that were made to the case service plan?
No.
Okay. The child remains in a relative placement, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what would be, let me ask first, how would you describe mom's level of compliance with and benefit from her case service plan?
Yes. She has a high level of compliance with her case service plan. She is benefiting from the services that she's engaged in with Home Vision, drug screening and individual counseling. I would say overall she's doing very well.
Oh. And has that progress, I guess, is it sufficient to maintain the goal of reunification?
Yes.
And in fact, you're asking, your court report indicates that you'd be asking this court essentially for discretion to reunify the child with Ms. Leary during this review period. Is that correct?
Yes, with FRP services.
Okay. And what are the barriers to reunification currently? Like, why can't the judge just return the child to Ms. Leary today?
Yes, so there still remains some parental instability. Ms. Leary has just moved into her home about a month ago, so we want to ensure that she's maintaining and stable in that home and able to manage all of her needs as well as her child's. And then as well as she just recently is having car troubles, so she's working on that. So just ensuring that she's able to manage everything as well as the child's needs to ensure stability for him.
One of, I don't think Ms. has specifically stated, but in your report you indicate that one of the concerns or maybe just issues that had to be addressed this reporting period was some, I'll say, lack of initiative for parenting time. Can you describe what you were noticing and how that was addressed?
Yes, so what I was noticing was that there may have been visits that were scheduled and needed to be missed for one reason or another, and I wasn't being notified of that. And or there was scheduling issues between the relatives and Ms. Leary. So what we did was we met and we created a concrete schedule for them. It's still all unsupervised. But then just that way, everyone's on the same page and they have a schedule for the weeks coming.
And so far, how long has that been in place?
Not very long, probably 2 weeks.
Okay, and so far in the last 2 weeks, has that gone okay?
Yes.
Okay. And the caregivers are still really supportive of reunification, is that correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay. During this review period, the barriers to reunification that you mentioned, such as like just maintaining some of these basics, are Are there any services that you've been able to assist in during this review period to ensure that that's like a long-term maintenance for mom?
Yes, so we have made sure that she is searching for childcare. We provided a letter for her to be able to indicate that the plan is reunification for childcare, as well as ensuring that she continues employment and housing.
Is there anything else that you would like the court to know from your court report, or anything?
Not at this time.
Okay. As relates to the putative father, you have the proof of service that he has provided notice of today's hearing, correct?
Yes.
And have you had contact with him since the last putative father hearing?
Yes, he indicated to me that he would be present today via Zoom. I provided him with the Zoom info. I gave him the notice of hearing in person. And he has a scheduled DNA test on the 26th.
The worker explains that the department is helping the mother secure child care, maintain employment, and keep stable housing.
Do you know if he has reported he intends to go to that DNA test?
He intends to, yes. He did miss his previously scheduled one on January 22nd because he was incarcerated, but we rescheduled that for February 26th.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Madrid. I would move to admit the court report and the attachments.
No objections.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received. Cross-examination, Mr. McFarland.
Just one moment, Your Honor. Screen. Under the likely harm that the child continues to be separated from the parent, you indicated that the parent-child bond could be harmed if Raylan continues to be separated from his mother at this time, correct?
Yes,
She's been in this new housing for about a month, you said, correct?
yes,
What do you need from her? Has she provided a lease or anything to you?
not yet.
Are you requesting that?
Yes,
Have you requested that previously?
yes,
Okay. And are you asking that she provide a budget? Have you asked her to do that?
we have not sat down and done a budget yet.
Are you asking for that?
I have not asked that yet.
So I guess, what do you need for her to demonstrate stability other than a lease at this residence?
She would need to provide me with that lease and paid utilities, as well as just ensuring that she's able to maintain the home and all of her needs and her child's needs for more than a month.
So the lease would tell you whether that covers utilities or not, correct?
Yes, and proof of those being paid.
Proof of the, okay. As far as transportation, even if she doesn't have a vehicle, there is public transportation, so it's not a necessity she have a car, but that she's able to get herself and a child to whatever is necessary, correct?
Yes, and I don't believe transportation is going to be a huge barrier. It just recently broke down, but I know it's just working with the caregivers to get that up and going.
Is the residence Adrian?
Is her residence agent?
Yeah.
No, she lives in Ann Arbor.
Well, there's a lot of transportation, Uber and everything else in Arbor, Texas. Okay, thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Heist.
During this review period, you tweaked the visits. Tell me, mother has a significant other that was at most visits, but then you have some visits now where he's not there?
I indicated to her that he was not able to visit until he was cleared on a background check, and we did do that. And he's not able to be at the home with her, but they are able to be in the community or at a restaurant or library, something like that.
Okay, and is mom having some visits without him?
Yes, most of our visits are without him.
And that's her self-report?
Yes,
Because not that I know him or know anything bad about him, but we're really relying on mom to be independent with the child, right?
yes,
So we're not testing his parent skills. I think he's a person who has children of some sort. Did you say that this putative dad was incarcerated in January?
yes. He was, I don't know the time frame that he was incarcerated, but he was released on January 22nd,
Do you know what county?
Jackson County.
Okay. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. May I return to your seat?
I do have a question that might be more appropriate for me to ask now than to recall, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just touching on this individual, he's not to be at the home during visits of my client or just not to be there, period?
He's not to be there during visits.
Okay, okay. Is there anything in his history that you looked up that's a flag that we need to know about?
No.
Oh, there's some hesitation there, is there?
He does have criminal history, but he currently is sober and he has had history since 2011, if I recall.
He has a what in 2011?
Hasn't had criminal history since 2011.
Okay, okay, so well past the decade then, right? Okay, thanks. No further questions.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McCrone?
Let me ask my client if she wishes to testify. Do you wish to, we have to swear you in if you want to testify, so just let me know if you wish to testify.
Yeah.
Okay, let me have you sworn in.
Please raise your right hand.
Sorry, I was holding my phone.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Well, I'll first ask you a couple, you can put your hand down.
Okay.
Just want to ask you a couple questions and then I'll let you elaborate what you want to say, okay?
Okay.
Number one, you heard that the worker wants permission to reunify you and the child at your house, do overnights or visits at your house and expand. You heard that, correct?
Correct.
You also heard that she would like you to provide a copy of the lease and proof that your bills are being paid. You heard that?
Yes.
And then you heard that she and the guardian ad litem would like you to have visits just with you and the kids alone because this is your time to bond, not another person's.
All right, guys, now the mother finally takes the stand herself. Her attorney immediately walks her through the department's concerns, including housing paperwork.
You heard that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now, how do you think the progress on your case is going?
I think it's going very, very well. I believe that I've done everything that I've been asked of. To be honest with you, I thought I would have had him back by now already, and it is starting to kind of get a little frustrating, but I do just wanted to correct a couple of things because I have been here in a week. I've been here for 2 months, actually. I did forget to send her a copy of my lease. But I did screenshot that I paid my rent for the first month. And I also, I mean, I can still get the lease. I'm gonna have to get a copy of it. But other than that, as far as stability, I've been here for a couple of months, but I've also paid my rent on time every week in transitional for the past almost year now. So I don't really think stability is an issue. Um, but then again, that's just my opinion, but I don't know. I would like to see him more and I would like to have like more time with him. Um, if I could get like overnights or something, you know what I mean? Because I am starting to bond with him now that I'm seeing him more. But it's like, he thinks my aunt is his mom. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
I'm ready to have my son. I've been sober for over a year. We haven't had any problems. You know what I mean? I'm ready. I want my son back.
What does your work schedule look like for expanded visitations and or overnights?
I never work past 4 o'clock. Um, so the problem is with childcare because they're receiving, the caregivers now are receiving assistance for him and they have him. I haven't been able to apply for childcare because I don't have him in it with me. So I'll be able to apply for that, but I'm willing to pay for whatever daycare I have to send him to. You know what I mean? For him to go to daycare. That's the only barrier I feel like at this point is childcare. And I don't need, if I have to pay for it out of pocket, like I will do that until I can get assistance. But I don't feel like there's another barrier. My card's getting fixed right now as we speak. So
So have you looked into what's available for daycare and the cost?
So I looked into I know my mom wants to help me with so I don't have to have him in daycare so much because like right now he gets sick every week. Like he's always sick and it's just really frustrating. And so and I'm trying to see I was going to talk to Francesca about it to see if like we could see if my mom because my mom doesn't work. So between her and like when I go to school, he can go there's a daycare at Washtenaw community college and then but I have a list of the daycares in the area, but I haven't like actually reached out to them and called them yet.
So I guess you're asking if Francesca Madrid will, Miss Madrid, if she will see if your mother's appropriate to be a daycare provider, correct?
Correct.
And and what information, you can provide some information to her about Washtenaw Community College Daycare so she can explore that, correct?
Correct.
And it sounds as though you might produce a couple other names of daycare providers that might be also for her to explore, correct?
Correct.
Does your rent include the utilities or do you pay those independently,
Um
separately?
I so my water and my trash is attached to my rent every month and then I pay for electric, but it's only like $100 a month. My last bill was just 109. So
So I imagine utilities would also be internet, correct?
yep.
Trash pickup, is that included in your rent?
Yes, trash and water, both, well, they're not included into my rent, they're added onto it every month. Altogether, within my bills, I pay about $1,500 altogether, and, my monthly income for the month because I've created a budget for myself, I haven't provided Francesca with one, but I've been on a budget plan, and, I make anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 a month. So,
Okay.
I'm still able to save money and, um this is something that I've been working on for the past year, you know what I mean? That was part of transitional, was
Well,
to
okay, so can you share that budget with Ms. Madrid? Because it looks as if you're ahead of the curve on that. Could you do that?
yeah, so, I make, every day I get
No,
paid
I'm not
obviously
saying now. I'm saying by budget, you mean you have something written down by what you appropriate per month, so much for this, so much for that, so much for that, right?
right,
Can you provide that in writing to her, a written budget, so she has that? Can you do that?
yes,
And then these other bills that are not part of your rent, you're gonna provide a copy of the lease, a proof that you've paid the rent, and then any other bills that you're paying, proof that you're paying those, you're gonna be able to provide those to her and you have her contact information, right?
The mother then explains her current parenting schedule in detail: multiple weekly visits, long Saturdays, and transportation coordination with relatives are already happening.
yes,
And then when your car is fixed, you're going to maybe send her a video of the car running or maybe a repair bill, something to show that hurdle has been cleared, right?
okay,
Okay. Can you do that, is my question.
yes, I can do all that.
Okay. Any other concerns or questions that you have of myself, the quarter, Miss Madrid?
No,
Thank you. We'll see if anybody else has questions for you.
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Just briefly, tell me what your visit schedules are right now.
so she said that Miss Francesca said that I can visit like more than what's scheduled. So right now the concrete schedule is Monday, Thursday and Friday from 5 to 8 and then Saturday from 9 to 5. And that's because it's 5 to 8 for the reason that if I have to work that day, it's from 5 to 8. But if I'm not and I have that day off, I can pick him up earlier and keep him for the day. But right now that's the schedule.
All right, and then is that what you're gonna, Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 3 times a week, you'll come to town and pick him up and drop him back off, or how is the child
Yes.
brought?
So I've been picking him up. Once in a while, my uncle will bring him out to me. It kind of just, depends what everyone's schedule is, but for the most part, I'm picking him up.
Okay, and then the person that you have a relationship with, the man, he is at some visits, no visits? What's the status?
He hasn't been in a long time. He also works a lot. I had him at a few visits, but that was only like a couple of times, and it was really just um because they were like family events or we were going to dinner. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm taking him to bond with my child with me. Like that's not what that was.
Okay, are you able to meet his children?
I have met his children, yes.
Okay, do you provide any care for those kids?
No, I did give his son a ride to basketball practice once or twice, but other than that, no.
Okay, I have nothing further, thank you.
Any redirect?
No.
Recross? Your Honor. Any
No
other
further
witnesses?
witnesses, Your Honor.
No witnesses, thank you.
Comments?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I know that Ms. Madrid asked for discretion for unification. I think it's best suited if we leave the order with the goal as reunification. Mom is clearly making a significant progress to continue that goal. But we do have a court rule available to us, so we can provide everyone a 7-day notice if during this review period we believe it is appropriate to reunify, which it definitely sounds like it is. I don't want that to be discouraging to Ms. Heron, and I also apologize for referring to her as Ms. Leary during my questioning. But with that, we're just asking for a standard 90-day review with the continued ability to allow unsupervised parenting time. It sounds like that schedule is working really well. And it sounds like from Ms. Madrid's testimony, the plan would be to transition this child, to more expanded parenting time, to overnights and that sort of thing. And I have no further comments on that. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
Well, Your Honor, my client has demonstrated substantial time sobriety. I don't see that to be an issue that was really discussed here. And as she indicated, she was able to provide for herself economically and housing wise while she was addressing her issues of sobriety, and that she has a surplus of money, which is a good thing for a parent to have in this situation. Having daycare explored through her mother, through Washtenaw Community College. She's going to provide a couple other. I don't see that we are that far away from reunification. And matter of fact, as the worker indicated, there would be harm to the child if not reunified with mother. So we are asking that this occur sooner rather than later. We understand she has to provide some brief documents. I believe that she'll do that. I'm hoping within the next week or so. So that's what I think is a reasonable expectation.
Ms. Hikes?
Your Honor, I have no more comments, thank you.
All right, the court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. I appreciate the progress that Sarah, she did introduce herself as Sarah Leary, so she has demonstrated progress. I was able to hear some of that from her own testimony as well as from the testimony of our caseworker, Ms. Madrid. There is certainly progress being made towards the goal of reunification in this case. That is an appropriate goal. It will remain in place, especially considering the amount of progress that's being made. I'd like to see a continued period of stability for this child, especially now that we have another person involved that will be an integral part of the life of this child. See further stabilization and sobriety demonstrated by Ms. Leary in the next report period. And of course, Ms. Thomas is correct. There is a court rule that does allow for the department to advise that they would be notifying, and then that gives a 7-day period of time for any attorney or, for example, our guardian ad litem to object if she needs to. I've also seen very recently a stipulated order to return a child that would indicate that all parties agree, including our guardian ad litem, which is of course very important. Speaking of our guardian ad litem, she certainly is in compliance with her obligations. Thank you, Ms. Hess.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So in order to allow more time to see this mom demonstrate continued sobriety and stability, the child will remain in the placement that is the safest and least restrictive. She has significant amounts of parenting time that is structured in a way to allow her to take advantage of that relative placement, which is the safest and least restrictive at this time. There is still the significant risk of harm associated with returning the child to the home of the mother, especially at this juncture, if there were to be relapse or any kind of fallout on a lot of the pieces that are stabilized right now, it would be very devastating for the child. So for those reasons, the child will remain in placement pending our next review hearing, which will be scheduled on May 21st at 10 a.m. That will also be a permanency planning hearing, considering the age of the case and the need to consider the permanency and stability of the child, both at this juncture.
The final arguments hit hard. Attorneys agree the mother has made major progress, but the judge refuses to rush reunification completely. Instead, the child remains placed with relatives while the court watches for continued sobriety, stability, and consistency before making the final move home.